Hello one and all, and welcome back to Let's Watch Death Battle. It has been a while, hasn't it? By my count, hell, I'm not even sure how many years it's been, but it's been a few. So, it's possible you might be completely out of the loop and be wondering why on earth you're suddenly seeing this after so many years of absolutely nothing. Well, long story short, and in fact, you might even not know that I ever did this in the first place if you didn't. Basically, I made reaction videos to Death Battle for a pretty long time. Ultimately, I ended up working for the show for a good while, and I knew the results of the fights, and it didn't really seem like it was a really great idea. I thought it would take some of the fun out of actually watching the reactions if I knew every single thing that was happening before it even happened, and in some cases even helped write jokes. So, I kind of just put the kibosh on the whole thing. And, well, long story short, as of last January, I do not work for the show anymore. And as of right now, as of this episode, in fact, I've got literally no idea what the episodes are that they're making, how they were made, who wins, who loses. I got nothing now. So, what do you know? Now I'm back. And, I mean, a lot of people asked if I was going to ever do this again, so why not, you know? Anyway, enough of the pre-ramble, let's talk a little bit about the fight itself, why don't we? So we got Sabrewulf and Jon Talbain. We got Killer Instinct versus Darkstalkers. Can you honestly believe that it's been almost 10 entire years since Darkstalkers has even been on Death Battle? That doesn't sound like it should be true, but it very much is. They only ever had Felicia. And unfortunately, she lost it in the first episode of the series that emotionally wounded me, but I digress. We've got another one. Killer Instinct, on the other hand, they've had a lot of characters on the show over time. Maybe not as most as a lot of other things, but still, far, far, far more than some other fighting games got. Lordy knows we need more Soul Calibur and Tekken up in here, but regardless. Also, oh, King of Fighters, that would be great too. Anyway, we've got Sabrewulf and Jon Talbain. You'll have to forgive me, I'm not actually used to being a reactionist for that. It's been a while, but we got a werewolf fight. It's a Halloween, it's spooky, it's not Halloween anymore, and it's definitely not gonna be Halloween by the time this even gets posted, so, you know, but whatever. It is all spooky dooky and all that other good stuff. Now, basically, my initial impressions, and I admit to feasibly being wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm not, because I'm still pretty knowledgeable on these things. Darkstalkers, pound for pound, is just a much stronger universe than Killer Instinct is. There are obviously some exceptions. I'm sure if you put some of the high tiers of Killer Instinct against some of the low tiers of Darkstalkers, you could squeak out some wins. Some unique abilities could obviously bypass some strengths that a lot of them could have. It's totally possible. But in this particular instance, I'm gonna have to say that it's probably not the case. If I had to wager, I'd say Jon Talbain, at the very, very, very bare minimum, with the most minimal amount of research possible. I can tell you that he is, at the very least, more experienced and mindful about his combat. Sabrewulf is basically a huge, raging beast who just kind of goes absolutely bonkers crazy and just slashes and bites and really messes you up. And he's really powerful, so obviously that's going to hurt, and by my count, he's actually one of the more successful combatants in the series. So obviously it's worked great for him for over a long period of time, so not knocking it. But Jon Talbain is in fact a legitimate martial artist, and when he's a werewolf, he's pretty much almost always fully in control of his actions and mind. So that gives him the ability to strategize and assess the situation, which is a very, very big advantage in cases like this. It's basically the best advantage most people have over wild animals. However, that is also saying, I don't know for a fact, but I have a pretty good hunch that Jon Talbain should also, at the very least, be stronger and faster. I'm not 100% on things like durability and things of that nature, but I'm almost positive he's got to be physically stronger just due to the foes he's tangled with. So that seems to be the best, safest guess on my end. As for other possible advantages or disadvantages, I'm not 100% sure. So that's pretty much what I've got before we watch. Let's do this. It's been so long I think the last time I reacted to the show, they didn't even have that intro.
Every man is his own greatest enemy, and as it were, his own executioner. For many, every day is a struggle to restrain the beast within.
Or else you might turn into a big old honking werewolf.
Sometimes
Such as
very
Sabrewulf,
literally.
the savage wolf man of killer instinct.
And Jon Talbain, the kung fu canine darkstalker.
Werewolves are awesome, by the way, just for the record.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and
Regardless
skills
of
to find out
anything,
who would win.
This should just be cool to watch. So let's go. Tell me about
Deep
that
in
wolf.
the heart of Germany's Black Forest lies the ruins of Sabrewulf Castle, home to a monster of unspeakable ferocity.
Most on-the-nose name
duh,
ever.
It's called Sabrewulf Castle. What else do you
There
expect?
you
Now, that
go.
monster used to be a man, Baron Conrad von Sabrewulf. Once an aristocrat of wealth and
I'd say he
status,
actually has the
his
cooler
life
name.
would drastically change the day he discovered a secret laboratory deep within the castle's bowels.
50.
He stumbled
Wow.
onto a treasure trove of monster-hunting weapons and relics straight out of his family's secret history.
Including a mysterious large claw, which he accidentally cut himself.
I don't know if that's actually
Upon the light of
specifically
the
the
next
claw
full moon,
that he
the
scratched
Baron
himself
transformed
on,
into-
but
A vampire!
No, a werewolf. This is the werewolf episode.
Come on, Wiz. Spooky castle in the middle of nowhere, a weird cursed artifact. He's got Vaughn in his name. This is totally a vampire backstory.
fair enough.
That's for next year. On that night, Baron
Wow.
Sabrewulf became a bloodthirsty beast.
You know, the name really screwed him from the start there. Almost like it was destiny.
Very on the
While
nose.
Originating as early as classical antiquity, the fable of men turning into wolves under a full moon
I've
is
actually
a
seen that
staple of
movie.
European folklore. Real-life victims of
I don't do
so-called
good with
lycanthropy
horror.
most likely suffered from porphyria, hypertrichosis, or rabies.
Sabi rampaged all over the country, killing everyone he found. 'Cause
As you
a
do.
big hairy demon dog, being a werewolf means your strength, speed, and tough hide are off the charts. Oh, and it makes you great at basketball.
With his
That's
razor-sharp
more of a
claws,
situational
Sabrewulf can easily
thing,
tear
but
through
yes.
solid steel.
Generally.
Also, any one of his cuts can potentially pass his curse to new victims.
I always
He's
forget about the
pretty happy
comics.
Using those claws to brutally rush down any foe.
With a howl to the sky, Sabrewulf can amp himself up, or tap into his killer instinct to enter a feral rage.
Title drop.
In this state, any sense of shame or repression is eliminated as he truly becomes a mindless monster. It also increases his chip
Not that
damage
there
and
was a
allows
lot
him
left to
cancel
lose.
auto doubles into other auto.
Yeah, it makes him even more stronger and faster. We get it.
And to top it off,
No, he
can
attempted to
summon
explain game mechanics.
bats that are on fire. Gotta be honest, not sure where this one comes from.
Well, he can't do it anymore. That was in the original games.
Called it.
After a night of painting the town red with blood, Sabrewulf awoke to the nightmare that would be the rest of his life.
Yeah, his life.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly
good.
a fan of the whole werewolf thing, so he did anything he could to stop being a full moon furry. But science and magic couldn't cut it.
Wolf
He descended
alchemy.
into madness, but eventually found a possible savior: your friendly neighborhood soul-crushing megacorporation,
Because it
Ultratech.
works so well for everyone else.
Evil Walmart. Or just Walmart.
There you
Ultratech
go.
promised Sabrewulf a cure for his lycanthropy. But in reality, their experiments only gave him cybernetic implants in his arms
Cool.
and extended his werewolf form to
know what?
last indefinitely.
Oh.
You know what this werewolf
Oh,
needs?
so cool.
Robotic
But
arms.
Sabrewulf was none the wiser. In return for a cure that would never come, he agreed to fight on Ultratech's behalf in their Killer Instinct tournament.
What a goober! This moron ran around a creepy castle, bumped into something sharp like a dumbass, and now he might not even be potty trained. Then he got duped by the most obviously evil company ever.
To be
to
fair,
ruin his
as the
life
werewolf,
even
he's
more.
not as
This
of a
guy's
mind
either
as
the
normal.
Unluckiest schmuck on the planet, or just high off his ass on opium.
Actually, he was dangerously addicted to opiates for a time, which only drove him further into madness.
I was hoping they'd say that.
Wow, this guy's life sucks.
Yes, it
Regardless,
does.
Sabrewulf was a fierce competitor. Within the Killer Instinct tournament, he battled and defeated a Nez Perce warrior Thunder, the metallic super soldier Fulgor, and an actual dinosaur. He's certainly among us.
Nothing to sneeze at. Those are strong.
Like Tusk, who can summon friggin' meteors out of the sky.
Based on how large this projectile
We're rolling
is,
with
its
those, huh?
impact should
All
be
right.
equivalent to over a kiloton of TNT.
Sure, Sabi can't magically.
Even
call
then,
down
I don't know if
space
that's
travel,
enough.
But he can survive a hit like that and dish it back. In the tournament, he won 17 fights in a row.
Until he met the warrior monk Jacob.
As you do.
Protagonist, right?
Yeah.
And he got his hairy cheeks clapped by an alien McFlurry named Glacius.
But even after the tournament,
Well, I mean, that's
Sabrewulf
just
proved
Rushdown
strong enough
versus,
to tear
you know,
out his own
zoners.
cybernetic implants.
That's just
While
fighting game
conducting
101.
experiments on him, Ultratech's
Bad
Android
matchup.
CEO Arya had noted that the older a werewolf gets, the more vicious and skilled it becomes, while the loss in strength and agility is negligible.
And he proved it in his rematch with Glacius. Who's the clapper of cheeks now, you projectile spamming snow cone?
Most impressive,
Classy.
considering Glacius once got the drop on Arya, whom, according to an official novella, can react within a nanosecond.
Holy crap! He's not just your average werewolf, he's a super werewolf.
Like I said, I'm not
A fighting
100%
tournament
aware of
ass-kicker.
a lot of the
Though
things
he
in
will
Killer
sadly
Instinct.
always be on the hunt for a cure that doesn't exist. Sabrewulf is one of the most dangerous monsters and men to ever live.
He just wants to be person again. Poor Wolfie man.
Welcome to the demon realm of Makai, a dimension inhabited by
It's
powerful
crazy.
beings known as Darkstalkers.
Basically, your classic Hollywood movie monsters mixed with anime powers.
Makai is ruled by several noble
I mean, that's just a winning
including
combo.
the
I don't care
Krooks,
what you have
a
to say.
family of beasts,
Like werewolves?
including one prominent member, Baraba the Wolf Lord, who had a son
Baraba.
named Galen.
Which means hungry wolf. Really thinking outside the box with that one, huh?
Perhaps he'd prefer his English name, Jon Talbain.
Yeah, but his dad is named a freaking
mean,
Wolf Lord.
hey,
That's so
what-
awesome, it almost
what's
makes
this
me
wor-
forget
what's
he's
this
a
werewolf's
total
name?
deadbeat,
John.
Just like my dad. Did
Huh,
I say that
okay.
out loud?
Things got worse. One of the Wolf Lord's enemies, the Demon Jeddah, sent an assassin.
Major
to kill
asshole, by
Jon's
the way.
mother.
Dick move. Moms are off limits. Now a werewolf and an orphan, John grew up pretty pissed off at just about everything. Especially the humans that hunted him when he transformed.
Justifiably.
In the light of a full moon, Jon can't help but embrace his Kroot's
You
heritage.
can't- you
And
can't
under a
scorn him
red
for that.
blood moon, he risks losing all sense of self and becoming a ravenous beast.
Oh.
Jon's story was about the same as any werewolves.
I didn't
until he
actually know
happened
that.
upon a man who was also half monster and who defeated Jon in combat.
With martial arts.
Ah, that's actually what he looks like, not as a werewolf.
The only way to solve violence is with a
I actually haven't seen that a lot.
Jon's new friend did not offer violence, but control. Seeing little other option, Jon accepted a life with his new sensei.
Well, we don't know for sure what fighting style he was trained in. Based on the time period, location, and his stance, we can guess that he was learning Shotokan karate.
Inspired by Bushido
that's the
and
most
Zen
educated
Buddhism,
guess you could
Shotokan
probably
karate's
make.
focus is on controlled calm, a strong
Who knows if
defense,
that's actually
and
the
a rejection
case,
of
though.
unnecessary violence. Basically the exact opposite of being a werewolf.
Well, sign me up for his doggy dojo, cause I have no idea how all that Zen stuff translates to moves like his climb chaser and wild circular. Rejection of unnecessary violence, my ass. This dude's just showing off.
By embracing his werewolf
Yeah, I was
speed,
just gonna
Jon
say,
can
like,
pass
I don't
foes
really
with
know
his
if what he's
nunchaku and
doing
move
is
so
actually
fast
a
he appears to
Shotokan
be in two
karate.
places at once.
And by tapping into his inner energy, ki, Jon can perform.
'Cause
the
this is
beast
still
cannon
somewhat
and rock
anime.
around the room
Let's be
like a
real.
doggy meteor of pain, but that's nothing compared to the almighty dragon cannon. Oh yeah!
I don't know why
So
he even
much for
has
being
that.
Zen, right? That dragon can incinerate a whole wall.
Jon's training
Had to give him a
seemed to do the
projectile,
trick
I guess.
until his master was killed by a group of bandits.
Where was your flaming dragon there, man?
Enraged yet again
Rude.
by the cruelty of mankind, but tempered by his master's compassion, Jon became conflicted over his role in a morally gray world, unwilling to fight, but always ready.
Very
And by
fluffy.
Combining his martial arts skills with his natural werewolf powers, he became a wolf man to be reckoned with.
His razor-sharp claws can slice through steel and even punch holes in powerful darkstalkers like Lilith.
He's
Oh,
also
yeah,
got
okay.
those great doggo senses, like
Yeah, that's
superhuman
actually a
style.
really big
To
deal.
demonstrate, I've modulated dummy senses up to the same degree as those of a wolf.
I see you find my frequent humiliation amusing.
Oh, I do. Boop.
In
That's
open
just
combat,
rude.
Wolf ears can hear sounds up to 10 miles away.
Boomstick, somebody's outside stealing your dune buggy.
No, there. Wait, really?
And their sense of smell is over 100 times greater than that of a human's.
Oh good, the thief got away.
What did you smell that told you that?
Salt, lots and lots of salt.
Nothing but grit in a thick layer of what I'm sure is
I see what they did there.
unreasonably soft fur that you just want to scritch behind the ears. Jon has survived
gets
the
it.
onslaught of missiles from the Monster Hunter BB Hood. Wait. Who
Hmm.
gave Little Red Riding Hood military-grade ordnance? I want to shake
Make
their
no
hand.
mistake,
We've seen
BB
Jon
Hood is a
dodge bullets
messed
up
up
close,
person.
but he's bragged about
Deeply.
being as fast as light speed.
Sure, Jan. John.
And he can take down these 5,500-pound alien robots
And then Death
called
Battle referenced
Pixels,
Brady Bunch.
which can fly through outer space. Also, it's worth mentioning that Darkstalker society is broken up into different classes based on the strength and power of the individual.
John is a B-plus class Darkstalker, which is way
You wouldn't think that's really good, but it's
to compare him to other
it's actually pretty good.
to gauge his limits.
Like Anakaris, who sank all of ancient Egypt underground.
Or QB, who could lift a massive beehive high above this castle.
Based on its size relative to the castle, this hive would have to weigh over 30 million tons.
That's like lifting over 300 aircraft carriers. And John's way more jacked than she is. And imagine getting stung by one of those bees.
Even with his amazing
I would
power,
prefer not
after
to.
decades of torment, Jon had resigned himself to a life of misery and solitude.
Until he met the cutest cat girl around. Now, we all know cats are
Felicia.
usually super evil and Satan's presence.
Whoa, those
on
are weird
Earth,
cats.
But Felicia taught him that humans actually aren't so bad. Wait. So years of martial arts discipline couldn't temper his bad side, but getting laid did? You know what? I believe in.
As far as we know, they're just friends.
Yeah, and I'm sure the internet could give you 34 good reasons why that's bullshit, Wiz.
Well, despite what DeviantArt thinks, Felicia would help Jon
Regardless
conquer
of
his
how
dark
she
side.
did it.
Literally. Like, he literally fought his dark side and killed it. I always thought that was supposed to be, like, metaphor stuff, but I guess that isn't the weirdest thing we've talked about.
And
I
with
can
that
vouch for that,
victory,
not even
Jon
close.
finally claimed dominance over his monstrous identity and committed himself to a life of compassion.
But Jon will always be a Darkstalker. If he relapses, he'll be as deadly as ever.
There will always be a monster inside of him, just waiting to be let loose.
Existence with humans is impossible. That is why we are called Darkstalkers.
Yeah, well, now you're one of them, so what you gonna do?
All right, the combatants are set.
Character
Run the data
development,
through all
people.
possibilities.
It's time
So,
for
yeah,
a death
I'm pretty
battle!
convinced Talbain's faster and stronger and probably a better fighter. Generally, that's more than enough to win a fight. And that is a lot of blood. Ew.
Forgive me.
I have no forgiveness left, monster.
Yeah. I think you might have offended him a little. Going deep with the heavy metal, it seems. They hit him with a rock! Alright, well, credit where credit is due. Sabrewulf's definitely got the savageness factor. I wonder where the sprites came from, though. Whoop. There you go, there you go. Keep them on your toes. Have to wonder about the physics behind that, but it looks cool, so we allow it, we allow it. Apparently Butthead fell in a fire. Sucks to be him. Damn. Oh! Took a friggin' chunk of his arm.
You taste enticing.
Ugh. As far as I knew, I didn't know that Sabrewulf could even talk as a werewolf. Oh, I see what they did with the bats. That's very clever, actually. As otherwise it makes no sense. Still kind of doesn't, but it looks cool. Already busting that out, though. Surprisingly smart from the Sabrewulf. Looked like it hurt, though. Graveyard. Makes sense.
No, not now.
How much blood do they have in them? I was wondering when they were going to do that. Jesus!
Not like this. I know, monster, but tonight I'll make an exception.
Okay. Jesus.
Wiz, I think I need to see a therapist to tell them how awesome that was.
Sabrewulf was a ferocious foe, but Jon had a lot going for him in most regards.
More brutal than I was prepared
Jon was
for.
trained in genuine martial arts and practiced them for decades, while Sabrewulf relied entirely on instinct.
You mean killer instinct, eh? You're no fun. But hey, remember how Sabi defeated Glacius, who attacked Arya in less than a nanosecond?
Technically, that
call
put
that
Sabrewulf's
hopscotch
reaction
scaling.
capability well within light speed, which Jon claimed he could match.
But that was just bragging, right?
Hardly. Those Weetzel units Jon fought were capable of flying across the galaxy, hundreds of millions of light years in only a short time. This is important because fellow Darkstalkers Morgan and Dimitri have intercepted Weetzels in mid-flight combat.
Yeah, they're actually not as
Yeah,
impressive
those
as
two
you'd
are
think.
A-classers, but B-plus Darkstalkers like Jon have kept up with the higher classes in speed plenty of times. Hell, BB Hood can, and she's a C-class.
When it
And
comes to the
barely counts
Darkstalker
as a monster.
class system, speed is much less a factor than power and
Mentally
energy
she
level.
is, physically
to be
no.
frank, even if Jon was half Morgan's speed, he'd still be faster than Sabrewulf. So, if anything, he wasn't bragging enough.
He was way
Lightspeed
stronger,
werewolf.
too. QB's also a B-plus Darkstalker, and she lifted that 30 million ton beehive. Way
you
more
go.
than anything Sabrewulf can pull off. And when it came to ranged options, I think a
Although I have to
flaming
admit, when I saw
dragon
his
beats
intestines
out a
get ripped
long-distance
out, I thought I
fire
might have
bat any day.
misjudged
While
my
his
option.
application is
my choice.
different, we can gauge the level of ki Jon has at his disposal by factoring Anakaris sinking all of Egypt.
So the only logical thing to do was measure the total weight of ancient Egypt. No, really. We did that.
Most buildings in the
I'd
period
say
were
I'm
made of
surprised,
bricks and
but-
about 4.3 meters tall. Adding the known
I've
volume
had
of the
to do
pyramids and
weirder.
considering additional land, we determined Anakaris' ki had to be strong enough to move a civilization weighing over 1.2 trillion tons.
And that's not even counting all the
That'd
people
do it.
or cats. They had a shitload of cats. Now that sounds crazy for an old school horror monster like a mummy or a werewolf, but Darkstalkers aren't quite like the classics.
At this fight's core, though,
We're a
Jon
lot
won
stronger.
because of the kind of werewolf he
Wee bit.
was. Through years of struggle, Sabrewulf never found any means to tame his savagery, while Jon had successfully managed to regulate his wild side, giving
There
a
you
level
go.
of precision, skill, and control the poor Baron couldn't even begin to understand. Sabrewulf was vicious and unrelenting, but Jon had the training, the power, and, yes, the flaming Inferno dragons to score a brutal victory.
That'll do it.
Brutal doesn't even cut it. I mean, how much blood was that? You know, it had to be at least a gallon.
The winner is Jon
Okay,
Talbain.
that actually required a lot more thought than his usual puns. I can
Thanks for watching
appreciate
this episode
that.
of Death Battle. Come back next week to see previews of our upcoming matchups.
Hi,
If you wanna
Chad.
watch more stuff, you can click the boxes right around here, and you can always pick up some DB merch at store.
It's all somewhere, people. So this should be.
Blue team. This is the red
There you
team.
go.
We are here to destroy you.
I got a tank. People with tanks are never outnumbered.
Had to delay it, but now it's back. Fantastico. And there you have it, people. It's been a while since I've done this, but I certainly hope you enjoyed it. And I'm actually going to look up whether or not Jon Talbain has some kind of healing factor I was unaware of, or if he desperately needs to get to a hospital, like, immediately. Because I don't know. It might have been a bit of a Pyrrhic victory right there, but regardless, I ultimately did call that. I suppose I should probably start taking a tally on how many of these things I get right or not. And at the very least, I'll make it a mental one. I'm not sure if any of the past ones can really count towards that. Doesn't seem like that should work. Regardless, if you guys enjoyed this, maybe I can just kind of bring this back. If you want me to, admittedly. Maybe you're not interested in this anymore, and it's an entire waste of time. We'll find out together, I suppose. As far as past episodes are concerned, I mean, if a lot of people have, like, a specific one they want me to watch, I could probably do that. It's been a while since I've seen a good number of them, so it wouldn't be 100% remembered. So if that's something that interests you, you can always let me know. And, well, I suppose I'll see you next time in whatever form that takes. Bye-bye.